Understanding the value of a fraction on a number line using benchmark fractions. We're going to call those benchmark fractions our targets. Our targets are going to be 0, 1 whole, and 1/2. 1/2 being our first and easiest benchmark target because I can easily put it in the middle of that number line. Next, we're going to take a look at a fraction such as 5/6. I want to know if 5/6 is going to be closer to 0, 1/2, or 1 whole. In order to do that, I need to change this fraction and these numbers, these targets, so that they're apples to apples. Right now, 5/6 is not easy to compare with 0. But if I change it so that 0 is now a fractional amount with the same denominator, my value would be 0/6. If I jump over to 1 whole and do the same thing and change it so it has a fractional amount with a denominator of 6, like this fraction I'm looking at, the value of 1 whole would be 6/6. And then if I take a look at a half, the value of a half, if 6 is my denominator, would be 3/6. I know that because 3 is half of 6, or 3 plus 3 equals 6. Next, I want to decide, is 5/6 closer to 0/6? Is it closer to 3/6? Or is it closer to 6/6? I think I know, but if I wasn't sure, I could always label my number line so that I have 4/6 and 5/6 on my number line to see that 5/6 is closer. It's closer because it only takes me 1 jump to get to 1 whole. It would take me 2 jumps to get to 1/2. Let's try another one. Let's take a look at 3/8. Again, we want to make apples to apples, so we're going to change our 0 so that it has an 8 in the denominator, which means this fractional amount would be 0/8. Going over to 1 whole, if we change our fractional amount to 8s, 1 whole would be equal to 8/8. And then at 1/2, your denominator is 8, and half of 8 is 4, so our value would be 4/8. Which target is 3/8 closer to? 0, or 1/2, or 1 whole? Well, if this is 4/8, that means 3/8 would be right here. 3/8 would be closer because it would only take 1 jump to get there. If I were to put in my 2/8 and 1/8, now it would take me 1, 2, 3 jumps to get to 0. So 4/8 is closer to 1/2. All right, now we're going to step it up a notch. This time I am going to give you the fraction of 3/5. With 3/5, again, I want to change my target number so they're apples to apples. So at 0, I would have 0/5. At 1 whole, I would have 5/5. Uh-oh, wait a minute. At 1/2, I can't break 5 evenly. But let's think about if I had 5 slices of cake and I was sharing them with you. I would get 1 slice. You would get the next slice. I would get the next slice and you would get the next slice. We have 1 slice left. What can we do in order to get the same amount? You're right. I can split that into half because 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1 whole. That means I would get 2 and 1/2 pieces of cake and you would get 2 and 1/2 pieces of cake. So 1/2 of 5 would be 2 and 1/2, also written 2 and 5/10. So where would 3/5 be closer to on our number line? 0, 1/2, or 1 whole? Correct. It would be right here, 3/5, only a half of jump back to 1/2. Excellent.